can do that at picture time.
That's more like it.
Ow, my hair is getting too long.
Are you gonna follow my head?
Wait, I'm not gonna lie, it's a possibility.
We have another minute, I think. So let's give it a minute.
Just oh man, I'm tired.
Kaylee's tired because she's been walking around on her hands for who knows what reason. It's yoga for strength today.
No, I think it's yoga nidra today.
All right. So, it's 12. Is it 12? It's 12. Okay, today is yoga for strength.
Yoga for nidra.
Focusing on building muscles, finding different muscle groups, building some strength. Mostly we build strength in yoga so that we can, get balanced in the physical body so we can move on to the other layers, be less distracted by the physical body. So today, if you have neck issues, so if you have anything going on in your neck, weak neck muscles, you strain your neck easily, then you might want to grab just a pillow or something to put your head on just in case. If you have it, you can wrap a towel underneath anything you can put underneath your head. And if you have blocks, grab your blocks. We're going to be using the blocks today. If you don't, just imagine that you have one. If you don't have a block, you can still engage. You can still imagine. It's just a little easier to grab if you actually have a block. All right. And if you have the bands, you can grab the bands. We may play with them just a little. So, we'll get started on our back today. Kayla likes to start on her back because she thinks it's easier, but today we're starting on her back because we're beginning with core.
I am doing yoga nidra today.
So, begin on your back, land on your back. Find your hips on the ground, get a little comfortable, take up some space, starting to land in present moment, starting to center. Starting to find your hips on the ground, your ribcage on the ground. Maybe give your head a little soft side to side, just feeling your physical body in this moment in time, starting to release some tension. Starting to think about just being here on your mat and not in yesterday or tomorrow. Right now, in this body, in this moment, having an experience in present moment. Start to release your breath. Really just softening, allowing your breath to happen. Checking in and noticing where you're at, maybe even asking yourself the question, how am I? How am I mentally? How am I physically? How am I emotionally? How am I energetically? And when you're checking in, listen for the answers with patience and compassion, the way that you would for a friend. And then bring your palms of your hands together, rub them together and make them nice and warm.
And then bring the palms of your hands onto your lower stomach, wherever is comfortable. Just feeling the warmth of your hands on your lower stomach. Still allowing your breath to flow naturally. Watch your stomach rise and fall, and maybe imagining the warmth of your hands just kind of softening any tension in your abdomen around your breath. And then begin to lengthen the inhale, and see if you can lengthen the inhale just by thinking about a long, slow breath without pulling tension into this abdomen area. So not forcing your breath with muscles, but allowing your breath to come in nice and slow. And then see if you can exhale a little bit slower. And then check in with your body. So pay particular attention to your shoulders, your neck, your chest, your lower back. Notice if, even your face, notice if you brought in any tension once you started to just focus on the breath and slow it down. There are no right or wrong answers. Just check in and notice. Notice any places that you may carry tension around your breath. And then try to wiggle the shoulders and allow them to land on the ground. Bring the hands to wherever they're comfortable, palms up or palms down, just allowing your shoulders to fall to the ground, really land on the ground. We're going to take our chin all the way over to the right shoulder and just feel the left side of the neck, connecting with the left side of the neck, noticing what's there. Take our chin all the way over to the left shoulder. Notice what's on the right. Notice if your shoulder wants to pick up as you turn your chin. Just notice where your tension is at. Bring your chin back to center. We're going to slowly bring a right shoulder all the way up towards the ear, letting it drag across the ground. And then send it all the way down with your muscles. Push down. Push the shoulder down, starting to warm up the muscles of the shoulder. And then let the right shoulder relax. Bring the left shoulder nice and slow all the way up to the ear. Not lifting it off the ground. Let it drag off the ground, but pull it up. And then push it down as far as it will go. Nice and slow. And then let the left shoulder relax. Take the arms out to a T, even with the shoulders. And then you're going to press the arms away from you. So expand your arms. Open up the shoulders. Imagine somebody grabbed your right fingers and made them longer. Somebody grabbed your left fingers and made your whole left arm longer. Expand and grow. And then soften your shoulders and arms. Take your fingertips to the ceiling above your shoulders. We're going to push the shoulders up without letting the head lift. So push the shoulders up high, high, high. Push the fingertips up. Push. Start to carve out the chest. Push, 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 push. And then slowly allow the hands to come back to a T. Slow as you can, using the arms and shoulders. Using the chest. Still breathing. Don't hold your breath. Soften your face. Hold your hands just above the ground. Hover. Notice if your arms are getting tired. Bring the hands towards the hips, still hovering off the ground. Try not to take a break. Take them as slow as you can, finding some muscles. And then once they get towards the hips, turn the palms to face each other, and you're going to push the hands away. Push, 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 and maybe even lift up your chest and your chin and your shoulders. Push the hands towards the hips, hold. This is one of those poses that you're welcome to let your head rest on the pillow. Hold, hold, hold. Carve out the belly. Start to feel the stomach engage. Push the hips into the ground. Lift, 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 lift. Slowly allow your shoulders to come down to the ground. Control the decline. Control your shoulders coming down. You have to hold your stomach to allow this to happen softly. Take a side sway of the hips, nice and slow. It's not nap time. If you wish to stay, if you're not super sturdy and strong in your core yet, and you wish to keep your feet on the ground with your knees bent, go ahead and keep them. Grab your block. So we're going to grab our block. Option to keep your feet on the ground, knees bent. Otherwise, you're going to take your feet long, heels down, about hip width apart. Point and flex the toes. Just warming up the feet and the legs, feeling the feet and the legs, finding the legs. And then holding your stomach really, really tight. Push the hips down into the ground. Lift and hover the right foot. Lower it. Lift and hover the left. Lower it. And then lift and hover both feet. Notice if the lower back is doing all the work here. So you may need to really pull that core in tight, tight, tight. And you may need to lift your feet a little higher to be able to make this a core exercise. So pull, hold, push the legs away, nice and strong in the legs and the core. And then lower the heels. Grab your block in between your hands. Take your hands to the ceiling. Option to keep the knees bent, option to have the legs long. Engage the core. So push the hips down into the ground first. And then squeeze your block between your hands and then lift your block towards the ceiling. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Chest should be active. Core should be active. Now lift the shoulders just a teeny bit off the ground. Teeny bit hover. Teeny bit hover. And a little bit more. A little bit more. Watching the neck, so maybe you need to tuck your chin. Watch your tension in your neck. Maybe you need to have your neck on a pillow. Hover, hold. Take the block slowly over towards the right. Back to center. Over to the left. Engaging. Find the muscles that make this movement. Don't just throw yourself around. We're trying to find some muscles. This movement is not big. Pull the stomach towards the spine. Watch your tension in your lower back and your compensation patterns. And then bring it back to center. Release your block.
What happened? But after a while, I think my core stopped working, but I don't think anything else started working. Like, I don't know what happened.
I think you just have no connection. Take your chin side to side just to make sure you release any tension in your neck. Let it roll heavy.
Like, it was hard at first, and then it got easier.
Because you probably fired up something else. Were you pushing into your legs?
No, my legs weren't working at all.
I don't know. All right, watch your compensation patterns. You're supposed to be having a yoga experience, which means you're supposed to be learning about your muscles, finding which ones are turning on. Grab your block, hold and engage your block. So you're squeezing the block. Lift the block up towards the ceiling. So this whole chest area should be engaged. Your shoulders should be engaged. Hold, squeeze the hips down into the ground. Lift the block up, a teeny bit more. Teeny bit more. Shoulders are going to start to lift. Watch the neck. Watch your compensation patterns. Maybe you tuck the chin. Just notice where you need to be for your strength. And then maybe you can hover the feet. So now you really can't cheat with the feet. And then take your block a little tiny bit to the right. Back to center. Little tiny bit to the left. This is an intense core workout. Only go where you feel strong. Your core is engaged. You're not letting your back do the work here. Hold. And then lower the feet. Lower your block. Take your head side to side. Make sure you release any tension you brought into your neck. Sway the hips. Do what feels good to reset.
So does yoga need for
Take the feet to the ceiling. Point and flex the toes. Take some movement in your feet. Just experience the feet above the heart. If you have a second block, option to squeeze your second block between your shins. So once you have your block squeezed between your shins, push your hips into the ground. So push, engage with the stomach. Stomach engage, push those hips down. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the stomach. Core working. Engage your block. Squeeze your block. Slowly as you can. Lift up the shoulders. Squeeze the legs. Now, take the block, your hand block to the left, your foot block a teeny bit to the right. Switch sides as slow as you can go. Slow, 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 and controlled. Huh?
I don't think my core is working.
Yes, because you're flopping. You're not going slow. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Why are you shaking then?
It doesn't feel like it's working.
Lower it down. Kaylee, keep going. Lower it down. Take a reset. Do it. It's not. Squeeze it tighter. Squeeze. Pull it towards
I don't think it's there anymore. I don't understand how I'm doing these without using my core.
I don't either. I don't know how you do your handstands or anything. All right, take your hips towards side to side. Take your knees and hips side to side. Loosen. Take your head side to side. Reset. Release tension. Keeping your left foot on the ground, take your right foot up. Push through the ball of the foot. Push the hips into the ground and then take a really slow circle with the leg. So just trying to feel all this points of a circle that your leg can move in. All of the movement through the hip.
I don't think I have a core anymore.
Push right here. Push, 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 push. Push your ribcage down.
It's just really buried. Doesn't like to work.
And then reverse your circle. Lower the right foot down, shimmy the hips. And then take the left foot to the ceiling. Press through the ball of the foot. Hips press into the ground. Nice, slow. Oh, slow circle. Oh, I just found a muscle cramp.
Nice slow. Oh.
There we go. It reset.
Nice slow look.
Reverse your circle. See, this is why we move through all of the angles to find the places we hold tension. As soon as I found the weak muscle, it was cramping and then it reset. To bring it down, sway the hips. Bring your knees in, give yourself a little hug. We just started. Roll on over to the side.
Exactly.
Come
We
up
should
to a
start
seat.
knee drill.
Find a seated position. Get really tall in the spine. Find your breath. your hands in your lap wherever is comfortable. Bring your right shoulder slowly as you can right up towards the ear. And then press it down. Really pay attention. Notice compensation patterns. So one of the ones you might do here, lift the left shoulder, is you might bring the left shoulder towards the ear to make you feel like you're getting further. So keep your head neutral and try and bring your shoulder by itself.
My
Release.
shoulder work lately. My shoulders are so sore.
So, yeah. This is a shoulder glove today, just FYI. Bring your shoulders all the way forward towards each other. And then slow as you can, all the way back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Bring your shoulder blades a little teeny bit up and a little teeny bit down. Up and down. And then come on over to a tabletop position. We're going to move and breathe in our tabletop, inhaling forward, exhaling back. Come forward to a tabletop, lower the right forearm down to the ground. Press and engage. So press the right hand into the ground, engage, pull up out of the right shoulder. So this is sinking down, this is pulling up, engaged. All these muscles are engaged. You can leave the left hand down. Just get strong in this right shoulder. And then we're going to come on over to a side forearm plank. So leaving the knee down first. Come on over, lift up the hips. So.
It's a little weird.
Huh?
I don't know if I've ever done a side forearm plank. It's awkward.
It is a little awkward. So the next sequence of exercises we're going to do, you want to be able to hold strength. So we're building strength in the shoulder. Only go as far as you can lift up out of the shoulder. This is me lifting my hips, my stomach is engaged, everything is lifted out of the shoulder. If you can't hold this and you look more like this and you're folding into the shoulder, back out. Stop what you're doing, stay small. Come back to neutral, tabletop. Take a little side with the weight through the arms. Land the left forearm down, engage, lift up out of the shoulder, and then bring the right leg over, side forearm plank. Lift the hips up out of the ground. Breathe. Try to lift a little more. And then back to neutral. Take the weight side to side. Take a little sway with the arms. Take the arms a little wider. And then start to bring one shoulder at a time towards center. Nice and slow. Having an internal experience with your shoulders. Releasing, resetting, rolling. Finding motion in your shoulders. Finding all the angles that your shoulders can move in. Bring it back to center and back to right forearm plank. Set up first. Place the right arm down. Press into the hand. Lift up out of the shoulder. And then we're going to bring the hips over. So, option to stay in this pose, lifting the hips. Plant the left leg down and send the right leg straight is the next position. If you can hold this with lifting your hips up out of the ground. Lift, 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 lift. Maybe you bring the left arm up. Help pull you, help remind you to pull up out of the ground. Engage the stomach, pull the stomach tight towards the hips.
Pull the hips up out of the ground. Pull, pull, pull. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Lower the left hand. Slowly come back to neutral. Take the hands wide and take a little side to side. And then plant the left forearm down, set up. Maybe you stay with your knee down. If you can only hold strength with your knee down, you are better to lift up than to flop into the joint and just hang out in the joint. So lift up. Maybe you plant the right foot down and take the left foot long. Lift the hips up out of the ground, strong and engaged. Push them up towards the sky. Maybe you lift the right arm, reminding you to pull you up to the ceiling. Breathe, lift. And then slowly reset. Plant the right forearm down. Next move. Set up. Maybe you stay with the knee down. Maybe you even take some weight into the left hand and you're lifting up. Just as long as you're getting that lift up, pull up strength, building in the shoulder. Maybe you can come to left foot down and right foot straight. Maybe you can come to full both legs straight. Lift the left arm. Hold. If you can come here and hold strength, we're going to take tiny hip dips, really tiny movement, dipping the hip down to the ground. Watch it. It's the hip that dips, not the shoulder. So dip the hip, hold the shoulder up, using your stomach to let your hips move.
It's just not having your feet on the band that moves.
Bring it back to center. Bring the right hand towards the left knee. Place the palm up and then pull. So pull the hand as if you're trying to pull it towards you without letting it move. And then maybe take a little movement. And then over to the other side. Left side ready to set up. I'm going to turn around so you can see. Left forearm down. Find where you're at. So left forearm down. Maybe the left knee is down and you're just lifting up the hips. Practicing lifting up. Maybe this is where you stay. Maybe you bring right foot down, left foot out. Lift up the hips. Or maybe you can get all the way to both legs straight. Still pulling up out of the shoulder. If you can hold both legs straight, arm up or arm down. Little tiny hip dips, not shoulder dips. Hips move, not the shoulder. Squeeze the core to let your hips move. Lift up out of the ground. Build some strength in the shoulder. Watch the tension in the neck. Watch the tension in the face. And then bring it back through to tabletop. Place your right hand down. Left hand goes towards right knee. Palm up. And then give it a little pull. And just find where it feels good for you to release the tension in the shoulder. And then let it go. Take the right fingertips, palm up towards the knee, and just open up the back of the wrist. Left fingertips, palm up towards the knee, open up the back of the wrist. And then make your way to your first down dog. Tucking the toes, hips up. Find some movement in your down dog. Notice if your shoulders are all worn out, or maybe this position just feels better. Take the tension out of the head and the neck and the temples and the face. Warm up your down dog, however feels good. Move. Breathe. And then maybe try adjusting your hands in your down dog position. So changing your shape to what is different than it normally is. Maybe you make a triangle shape with your hands. Maybe you turn your fingertips out. Just try to make something a little different. Change it up. Feel different in your down dog. Lifting the hips high. So really pulling up out of the ground. Lift the hips high, not sinking into the shoulder joint, lifting up. Lift, 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 engage. Maybe even coming to the balls of your feet so you can really feel what it feels like to send the hips high. Bend the knees, keep the hips high. Find your breath. Bend the knees, look towards the hands, and then slowly bring the right foot outside of the right hand. Slowly bring the left foot outside of the left hand, and then move nice and slow. You may need your block. Move nice and slow, hips side to side. Finding your legs, turning your feet in whichever way feels good as long as you move slow and with control. I think Kaylee just did a Malasana protest.
Oh no, I had like a... No, the light was hitting one of my hairs weird and it looked like I had a white hair and I was very confused.
Your grandmother went great, you're right. Find some movement. Move the hips left to right. Find your breath. Release the tension out of the head and the neck. Or just hang out in Malasana. So turn the toes out and begin to send the hips down towards Malasana. We are going to engage the block, so towards Malasana. Make a sensible choice about where you can hang out here. We're going to grab the block and we're going to bring it forward. Push the arms forward, shoulders forward. Shoulders are nice and strong. Lift up out of the feet. Pull up out of the arches of the feet. This is yoga for strength. Find some strength in those legs. Little pulses. Engage your block. Watch the tension in the face and the neck. Watch your compensation patterns. See if you can engage your core. No lower back. Don't overuse the lower back. Use the glutes. Squeeze, 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 and then come all the way up. Release your block. Step into mountain pose and connect with your breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, prayer to heart. Prayer to heart and hold. I'm going to move into a balancing sequence. So just start to feel your feet. Move your hips. She's been saying it's Shavasana time since we started.
Well, I was saying it's leisure time. Now it's Shavasana time.
So move the weight on your feet. Like you're just kind of rolling around, feeling your feet. How do we fall? How do we slip and fall? We fall when we make these weird movements with our feet and knees. So feel your feet and knees. Let your body know. Learn patterns on how to adjust movement in funky directions. So really kind of move the hips, move the weight on the feet, move the knees around, find your angles, building some strength. And then getting the feet underneath the hips, focusing on your lower core, engage, maybe a little bend in the knees to help. Hands can be a prayer on hips, out to the side, make your choice. We're going to bring the weight onto the left, and we're going to try, without moving the hips, to bring the right foot forward. Whew, not today. So bring the right foot forward. It's a little easier if you bend the knee. If you want the challenge, you're going to send the foot long. So you're going to press through the ball of the foot. Trying not to move the hips, so you're going to want to compensate by moving the hips around. Hold the stomach in nice and tight. Lift the leg. Hold it. Hover it. Hold and hover. Bring the knee up towards the chest. Hold.
Send the foot slowly past the left knee. Bring the knees down even, hold. Now push the ball of the foot away. Get tall in the spine, legs strong and active. And then we're going to take our knee out to the side and then back to center. Watch your hips. Try to make this in the leg. Try to pull your stomach in to keep you nice and stable. So, I just thought about adding knee circles just to mess with you. Send the heel backwards. I can't do it now. Send the heel backwards. And find your warrior 3. Long from the hips, strong in the leg. Longer, longer, longer in the spine. Breathe. Bend the knees, send the heel up. Active foot, active leg. Slowly bring it all the way back up to stand with knee in front. Cross the right foot over the left, land it, curtsy pose. So you're gonna land this foot, change the weight so that the back foot is on the ball of the foot. So I was telling myself a little joke in my head about what I was gonna do to you. I had a circle and I totally lost my balance. So find your curtsy pose. Get really strong in the legs, really strong in the core, really tall in the spine. Breathe. We're going to go through a little sequence here that's complicated. Make it small, make it controlled. Find your muscles. Don't just throw yourself in space. We're going to bend the knees. Come on up. Weight onto the left leg. Kick the right leg out slow as you can. Bring it back to where it was. Bend the knees. What?
Your lefts and rights are completely mixed up.
What?
Your left and right is
Oh.
completely backwards.
I was like, what? I think maybe because I'm looking at the screen.
No, that would still be your. Oh, well. Yeah, maybe.
Nice and slow with control. All muscles engaged. Not throwing limbs in space. Bring your arms out to counterbalance if you need to.
Yeah, it's still your left leg, so.
My left leg is lifting up. My right leg is bending. Engage. Find your curtsy. Get a little taller in the spine. Find your breath. Find your center. Bending both the knees, weight onto the right leg. Bring the left leg to meet the field. Right, and tap it out. Take left and right sides. Tap it out, swing it out. Reset. Find your feet. Find the weight on your feet. This time play with the weight going forward, maybe onto the balls of the feet. Sway the hips. Lower the heels, take a circle. Onto the balls of the feet, sway the hips, take a circle. Finding all the muscles in your feet and then reverse the direction you're going. Finding the muscles in your legs. Take the hips side to side. And then connect with your breath. Inhale up, exhale, prayer to heart. What are you going to do when we're in a studio without a mirror? Find your mountain pose.
I use the mirror with my hand. How are we going to be in a studio without a mirror?
Bring the weight onto the right leg. Find your center of gravity. Pull the stomach in towards the spine. Pull the hip bones towards each other. And then bring the left foot out. Try not to move the hips. Send the left foot up. Bend the knee if this is too much. Lift the leg. Hold your strength. Bend the knee, lift it, hold it. Slowly send the left foot past the right knee and then send the left knee to meet the right. Hold, hover. Active leg in the left leg. Left knee out and in, nice and slow.
So my hips are still supposed to be even, aren't they?
Lower the left knee. Send the left leg nice and long. Really long in the spine, warrior 3. Breathe. Active leg. Really push through that back leg. Lift up out of the right. Long in the spine. Super engaged. Breathe. Bend the back heel. Bend the back knee. Bring the left knee all the way up to stand. And then cross the left over the right. Land in your curtsy. So come onto the ball, lift the right foot. I don't think I was backwards. I think you were backwards.
I'm always back.
So land, curtsy pose. Find your curtsy pose. So move around. Find the hips even, get strong, hold. And then our complicated sequence. Bend the knees, lift the hips, right leg up. Nice and strong. Bend the knees, lift the hips, right leg up. So we're not throwing the leg around. We are doing it with control. Find the muscles, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the legs, squeeze the core. Slow and with control. Slow as you can. Slow it down. Maybe move your arms out to counterbalance.
I think legs are supposed to be like capri.
And then find your curtsy.
Short legs.
Find your breath. Bring the weight onto the left leg. Bring the right foot up to meet the left, and then pedal it out. Tap the feet, feel the ground. Try to get a little bit of cellular reset. Tap, shake. And then connect with your breath as if it's the thing that's helping you live, because it is. Inhale up, exhale, proud to heart. Inhale up, connect with breathing in fresh. Exhale, bring it in, down to your heart. Bring in what you need. Release what you no longer need. A couple more rounds. Maybe even sighing out of your mouth. Letting go. And this time, bring your prayer all the way through center. Exhale, fold over. Find the place where you can let your torso touch your legs. Maybe even deeper bend in the knees. Let the tension out of the head and neck. Breathe. Let go. And then hands to the ground. Step back, high plank. And lower quickly all the way down to the stomach. Shimmy the hips, crocodile pose, one hand on top of the other, forehead down. What can you let go of?
And then just a little moving and breathing. Bringing in the back line, working the back line, evening out. So bringing your hands wherever they're comfortable. Begin to engage the entire back line. So engage the glutes, engage the back of the legs, engage the whole back, even a little bit the neck. Focus on lifting the shoulders, not the head. Focus on getting long, making space between each vertebrae, and then begin to inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the shoulders, maybe even the arms. Exhale, lower. Maybe you can begin to lift the toes, squeezing the legs, keeping the legs really long, making sure you're not using one muscle group more than all the others. So watch the low back, watch the neck. Get really long and strong in the back. And then bring it back to crocodile. This time, really shimmy the hips, loosen and soften all the muscles in the back line. Wiggle the legs, wiggle, 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 loosen, soften. And then side out, let go. Roll on over to your back. I didn't even finish before Kaylee knew what we were doing. Roll over to your back. Find your hips on the ground. Take a shimmy of your hips. Feet on the ground, knees up. Release, soften, let go. All of the hard work is done. So take a check-in. Notice what feels different. Notice your shoulders. And we're going to do a little bit of shoulder reset. So we're going to bring the palms of our hands down to the ground. Our hands about halfway between our shoulders and our hips. Place your hands on the ground. So you really feel them on the ground. And then start to move the weight left to right. So you're wiggling the shoulders. So push into left hand, push into right. Quick shuffle. It's a shuffle. Get a cellular reset. You want to wobble like jelly. Wobble, wobble, wobble left to right. Let the shoulders reset. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Take a deep breath in. And with the exhale, suddenly release. Allow the hands and shoulders to land wherever they land. Notice where they land. Notice if they're even. Notice if they're not. Just have an experience. Feel your own body and where it's at. And then take the right fingertips towards the ceiling. And we're going to try and get the right hand to lift up and the right shoulder to drop. So little plops, letting the shoulder drop onto the ground, resetting the shoulder. Letting go. Trying to find the tension in your arm and shoulder. Notice how hard, look at the hand. Notice how hard it is to let your hand drop and soften. Your brain stops it. Your brain wants to stop that hand from hitting you in the face. Try to soften, try to let it go. And then let the right arm come down, left arm up, lift the shoulder up out of the ground, push the fingers to the ceiling, and then let it drop. Soften and drop. As if somebody's like grabbing your arm. Imagine you had someone just pulling your arm out and then letting it go suddenly. See if you can get that experience. Letting go, letting drop, letting your shoulder wiggle and reset. And then let your left arm come down. Find your feet on the ground in a comfortable position for your hips. And then we're going to do a reset for the hips. So press left and right for the hips. Reset, wiggle. See if you can release some tension across the hips. Reset, little cellular reset, pressing, wiggling, letting the cells reset, wiggle, release tension. Take a deep breath in, and with the exhale, loosen, soften, see where you land. Bring the left foot onto the ground, knee towards the ceiling. Cross the right ankle just underneath the knee. Push the right knee away from you and watch what happens in the hips. Maybe you need to ground the hips a little. Try not to let the hips move. Push the knee away. Maybe you can wiggle the left foot in slightly. And maybe bring that left foot a little further closer to the hip. Little action, so a little bit of muscular action pushing the right knee away, not at your fullest extent. And then slide right knee over left. Bring the knees in towards the chest and feet towards opposite shoulders. So we're looking for piriformis on the right side. Breathe into this space, let go. You can play with the angle of the feet. You can take ankle circles. Just try to have an internal experience. Feeling all the muscles in the body. Breathing. Releasing tension. Letting go. Drawing in fresh. And releasing things no longer needed with every breath. Slowly unravel. Place the right foot down on the ground. Left ankle is going to cross underneath right knee. Left knee is going to press away. Watch the hips. Press away, just finding outside of the left leg. Having an experience, and in the hip maybe. Maybe you can slide the right foot in a little bit. Maybe you can slide the left foot down the leg a little bit, just noticing where you're at. Noticing what feels better. It's not which is right or wrong. There's not a right or wrong. Everybody's anatomy is different. Noticing where you're having an experience. So noticing your muscles, noticing where you might have tension. And then slowly slide left knee over right and bring the knees in towards the chest. Feet towards opposite shoulders, and you're looking for a piriformis underneath the glutes on the left side this time. And again, find movement in the feet or just breathe into this position. Slowly unravel. We're going to either remain with your feet down on the ground, knees up, or slide all the way through to Shavasana, full corpse pose. And we're moving into resting pose. So resting pose is about finding that pose where you can center and reset and let go. So if this is not the perfect position for your body today to let go of tension, move to another position. Make wise choices for your own body. Listen to that voice of your body. Listen to what it needs. This is the time to give to your body, to reset, to rest, to recharge. And with all of that physical energy that we just expelled, hopefully you can allow the physical body to rest and reset so that we can focus on resting and resetting the mind, the energetic body, the emotional body, all the other layers. A resting pose is important. Many are tempted to skip the resting pose. It is one of the most important parts of a practice. So check in with the physical body, looking for any of those places that you might be still holding tension. Check in around the toes, the ankles, the hips, the stomach, the chest, the shoulders, the neck, the muscles of the jaw, the muscles around the eyes and the temples. Check in on the palms of the hands. And today imagine you could land at the crown of your head and bring a softness here. Soft at the crown of the head. That space that's soft when a baby's born, imagine that you could bring a softness here. And imagine right now you are surrounded in a bubble of energy, and this bubble of energy contains precisely what you need in this moment, and try not to have a cognitive answer for that. Try to just imagine exactly what you need is going to come in right now from this bubble around you. If it helps, you can give it a color, you can give it a temperature, you can give it a texture, you can give it some kind of visual representation in your mind. Whatever helps you retain focus on this concept, drawing in from the softness at the crown of your head. Slowly have this perfect energy for exactly what you need right now trickle down from the crown of your head. Trickle down your spine, slowly all the way down to the tips of the toes, the tips of the fingers, across the face, across the skin, as if touching every single cell in the body. And if the mind trails away and gets distracted, just return to this concept of drawing in from the crown of the head and trickling down precisely what you need. Resetting, restoring, recharging.
you have more time available to you to take in your resting pose, please take it. Please take the time that your body needs. If you need to wrap up within the 60-minute mark, we're coming up on that number. So begin to move, gentle movements to the fingers and the toes, gentle wiggles, alerting, warming back up to your space, noticing your environment first. So checking in the sounds, checking on the temperature of the room, noticing where you're at, and then very slowly making your way into a fetal position, curling up in a little teeny tiny ball, and connecting with the overall meaning of this pose, the fetal position, reminding us of a time in the womb when all of our needs were met. We had not judged ourselves as negative or positive. We were simply a spark of life. We come to this pose to look for that spark of life that exists within us, unchanged by our experiences, unchanged by the stories we tell ourselves or the layers we place upon ourselves. And slowly make your way to a seated position and bring your hands to heart space. Connecting with this gesture of bringing our left and right sides to meet in front of our heart, as if accepting ourselves as whole and complete, precisely as we are. May you spend the rest of your day feeling a little bit stronger. When we feel a little stronger physically, it's sometimes easier to feel a little stronger mentally and emotionally also. May we all know love, light, and connection. Thanks for joining us.